Hey, welcome back to 24/7 Moms Live. I am Trisha Novotny, along with my husband.
Excuse me. Wow. Husband Steve Novotny. And it's a pleasure to be here.
That's awesome. I'm excited to be here. Okay, so let's see. I was going to tell you something. Oh, yesterday when I was driving to the gym, I was listening to a new podcast that I hadn't listened to before, and it's called The One Thing. And you told me you've read the guy's book, The One Thing.
Great book, great following. And, you know, the guy is a really rock star realtor. That's how he started.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know anything about him except for I just listened to one of his podcasts yesterday. And it really was good. And it was a great reminder to me as well as a challenge.
Mm-hmm. We thought it would be great to talk about what it takes to make it in this world as a mom and everything else. And this is a good habit that you really grabbed onto.
Right. So what the habit is thank yous, right? And so we want to teach our kids how to be thankful. We want them to have a heart of gratitude, right? So when they're little, maybe we start with having them write thank you cards, and we're always teaching them to say please and thank you, all those things. But we as parents also need to be modeling it. Mm-hmm. So several years ago, I was working in a mission organization, and I decided that one of the things I felt like sometimes there could always be a better work ethic in most places that you're working, right? You always see people, you think, oh gosh, there could be just a stronger work ethic or more appreciation towards work, and letting people know that you value the work that they're doing and what they're doing. And so the one way that I knew how to do that was by bringing value to what they were doing. I don't care if it was scrubbing dishes in a kitchen, putting gas in a vehicle, or it was leading some big part of the team, right? You want to bring value. Everybody matters, right? You need every part of the team. So I began a habit of writing thank you cards.
Right.
So I had the list of the staff in my desk with my thank you cards, remember, being prepared, and I began writing thank you cards. And the interesting thing about that was people were thanking me for their thank you cards. And that right there spoke volume to me of, wow, this is impactful on people's lives. They noticed they got a thank you card. It wasn't like they just read it and tossed it. It meant something to them, right? So this isn't just a, hey, thanks for having coffee with me. It was great talking to you. This is getting deeper, like, thanks for having coffee with me. I really enjoyed you sharing your heart with me and sharing, and
you share a personal note.
Right, more of a personal note. You're going personal and what maybe they impacted you or how you value them or something positive about what they're doing.
Right.
So that was really an important piece that I learned in writing thank you cards. So yesterday when I'm driving to the gym and I'm hearing this podcast all about the habit of writing thank you cards. And the whole point of the guest on The One Thing was that he created a challenge. He decided he was going to challenge himself. One, it was partially to help him begin having more gratitude and to help him to be thankful, right? And to be appreciative of what others do and all the people around. And also to kind of create that ripple effect, that habit of, like, if we do one thing, it will, ripple out to other people as well. So, when you think about it, today we were listening to a podcast this morning or a Facebook Live, and the guy on there, he said, we always remember the negatives people say to us.
I know. I agree. I overheard that when I was getting ready, and I thought, isn't that so true? We remember the times when, we got slammed.
All the way back from when we were little, right?
Oh, I remember in first grade when I got mocked because I liked this girl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a perfect one. That a lot of kids happens to.
Man, it's like still to this day.
So then you hide your emotions, right? Then you start hiding your emotions.
Yeah. I blocked that girl for my life for 15 years.
So the things that we begin doing because of the negatives that people have said to us, so let's make a switch and let's help people have positive things to talk about. Let's put positive words into them. Let's affirm them. Let's value them. Let's be impactful to them, because one of the things about being impactful to somebody in our words and using our words, and it's something in our home we've really tried to instill in our kids is that our words matter,
Yeah.
and to speak words of life. And do this consistently. You know, I've told you before that on our window in our kitchen eating area, I have all the kids' names written on it, and we write words about the kids, and they're just positive affirmation words. Helpful, leader, you know, encourager, whatever I'm thinking about them that day, I'll write it down on there just to help them remember that words matter.
Well, we try and teach them, don't use words in a careless way. A lot of times we just blah, blah, blah. We just say stuff,
Yeah.
and we don't realize that our words carry weight no matter where it's at.
Yeah.
And there's always people that are looking up to you and that you're looking up to them, and you weigh. I know there's people that when I say things at times, they like remember, and I don't even remember saying
Right.
it to them, but I did something like inspired or changed their life. And it wasn't I was trying to be careless, but I just realized we say so many things and we don't even realize how powerful they can be, positive or negative.
Right. So we have to choose our words. So here's another way to choose our words is by getting in the habit of writing thank you notes. So we were just discussing, like, this is such a great challenge and a habit that I would like to get back into. So I'm not making this big official announcement. Oh, I'm going to write 10 thank you notes a day. This gentleman that was the guest talked about how he made a challenge to himself along with his coach to write 5 thank you cards a day.
That's a
Which
lot.
it took him like a good hour and a half a day to write 5 thank you cards. And he had all these rules for himself. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea to make rules for yourself, right? So you have to make a choice. Will it be handwritten? Will it be a text message? Or will it be an email? Obviously, my encouragement is to do a handwritten letter. There's nothing better than getting a handwritten letter. And I have a couple of friends who are amazing at this. One of my friends named Valerie, she is my one person that will send me these handwritten, thoughtful, honest, authentic notes that really are impactful to me.
Right.
They really make me go, I can keep going. I can do what I feel like I'm called to do, you know, by one note that she sends me in the mail. And so that is such an inspiration. So choose the way that you're going to do it, right? That's the one thing. How many do you want to write a day? For me, maybe I'm just going to start with 1 a day because I don't want to go, oh, I'm going to do 4 or 5 a day and then fall off the wagon and then it never happens. So be honest with yourself of what really you can do. Maybe it's 1 a week. You're going to do it every Sunday. You're going to write a thank you note to somebody, right? And then you can't decide, if you decide like you're going to do a certain number a day, you can't decide, well, I'm going to do it all on a certain day or once a month because that's not getting you in the habit. The idea is to create this to be a habit in your life, not just, oh, I'm going to do this for 30 days and then back out the door.
Right.
The idea is that you're creating a habit of valuing other people and bringing, you know, an impactful attitude to other people, okay? So then the other thing that he did, oh yeah, schedule your time. So like schedule, when are you going to do it? Is this something you can do during the mornings when you're journaling or you're reading your Bible? Or is this something you do every night just before you go to bed? Or is this what you do first thing when you get your desk? And that's what I used to do. It was the first thing when I sat down at my desk, I would pull out my list and I would write down a couple of thank you cards. And then I would, you know, lick them, put the names on them, and then later on deliver them to their mailbox. And so that is just find what is going to work. Make this workable, not a challenge that how are you going to fit it in your day? That's
a lot
the
of
whole
it
point.
is just trying to do it as you're doing your day. So what I used it in my golf business where when I would go visit a pro to kind of sign our product, I'd already have a thank you card with me.
Oh, that was good.
And I'd already have a little Starbucks card or something,
Okay.
you know.
Prepared.
Ready to go. And when I would walk out, I would just stop and write the little note so I had something personal about our conversation. It wasn't big. And then I would throw it in the mail.
Yeah.
So it was with me. I did it the next day.
Exactly.
Typically, they got it.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a sales tool, but it was sincere because I was really thankful that they allowed me to do that.
Well, the guy that's sharing this whole philosophy on this podcast, he talked about this started because he was a college Cutco salesman, the knives, which I own. He was selling Cutco knives and he sold them to a lady who then called and canceled the order. And he really enjoyed his conversation and time with her when he was selling her knives. And he was kind of like, wow, I don't know why she canceled the order, but oh well. He sent her a thank you card that just said, thank you for spending time with me. I really enjoyed getting to know you and your kids. 3 or 4 years later, she calls him up and she places this Mondo order, asks if he's, I forget his name, like, Cutco, is this Cutco Mike? And he's like, yeah, because that's what everyone called him, I guess. So
Cutco Mike.
Cutco Mike or something like that. And so she makes this module order, like practically orders everything out of the catalog, and he's super confused. And he's like, yeah, that's great. And she says, well, I just wanted to tell you the reason why I'm calling you back is you sent me a letter. And when I had to cancel my order, it was because I got really sick.
Send him a thank you card.
A thank you card. Sorry. When you sent me that thank you card, and when I canceled my order with you, it was because I got really, really sick. And my children had to move back in the house and take care of me. I was so ill. And I had to quit my job and I had no money. I did not want to cancel my order, but I had to. And then you sent me that letter and I knew you valued me more than just my order. So I made a promise myself that the day that I was back to work and I was well again and I could afford it, I was going to order every knife and everything I could from you. And so right then was when he realized
that could be expensive with Cutco.
Yeah, he realized the impactful and the powerfulness of writing a note.
Yeah.
And valuing people for more than just their sale. Right.
Right.
So anyways, back to the rules. So he made a rule to himself that if he was going to do this, he was going to do 5 a day. And if he didn't do 5 a day, he had to send $1,000 to charity.
Now that is a good way to do 5 a day.
So he did.
Not that you don't want to send money to charity, but that could get expensive.
Right. So he did this for 365 days to create a habit in himself, and he never missed a day in 365 days.
Oh man!
I thought that was pretty impressed.
That was.
So I just want to tell you. So let's make some rules. If you want to get on this bandwagon with me, and you want to go, okay, I'm going to really work at creating gratitude in my life and thanking people for random things. These aren't just the thanks for coming, thanks for having us over for dinner, or thanks for the coffee card that you gave me. This is those random things, like who in your life, right? Like I have really tried to make it a habit so that one, I'm modeling it to my children when we are traveling or whenever we're out and about, like in retail stores and places, to thank people for random things. I always go to the person if they're in the bathroom cleaning. So when you're in airports, there's 9 out of 10 times the ladies in there cleaning, right? I always stop and go over to her and say, thank you for cleaning the bathroom. I remember being at a Thrive conference recently and in Las Vegas, and I was in the bathroom. She was cleaning. I walked up to her and thanked her. And the look on her face, like she could hardly believe somebody was thanking her for cleaning the bathroom. Who wants to clean the bathroom after thousands of people at a conference? Not me. She deserved a thank you. She deserved more than a thank you. She deserved a raise.
And a lot of times those people just become invisible.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that's a good word. Like, who are those invisible people that we don't thank?
Right.
Every time I get off a plane, I look for the flight attendant and the pilot to make eye contact with them and thank them. And this gentleman that was writing these thank you notes, he started writing thank you notes to the pilot.
The pilots, yeah.
And
I always thank the pilots.
Yeah.
When I leave, I always like to make eye contact with the pilot, and I thank him for the flight because my life was in his hands.
Right.
And I was trusting that he knew his stuff.
Exactly.
And it's worthy of gratitude.
And he sacrificed to do that job that day.
Right.
He's left his family, who knows how many holidays he's missed, whatever. And they do that. Of course, they have a passion for it and they want to fly planes. But when you really think about it, nobody's thanking them. It's a thankless job. You're up front, you're flying a plane, you got 200 or 300 or 400
Well,
passengers.
you're just a sophisticated bus driver,
Right.
but it's a sophisticated bus.
Absolutely.
And you need them to know their stuff.
So who is it that you can thank? Is it the cashier at the store when you went through the line at the store and you got out to your car and you had some thank you cards in your car and you could write one and take it back in and hand it to the manager to give to the cashier? Is it friends that have impacted you? A friend who you just want to say, hey, I appreciate who you are. I appreciate.
Well, as we started talking about this, I started thinking of all the people that I could thank, and there's a gal at Home Depot that is like my secret weapon.
She is.
I can just call her on her cell phone, and she helps with the pros there. And man, I need to send her a thank you card.
Right. It's again, it just goes back to valuing people and then impacting them with it. So back to how can you do this? Be prepared, right? Create a list, an ongoing list, because you couldn't sit down and go, well, I'm going to create a list for 1 year. You might be able to, but along the way, you're going to think of other people you might be able to send a thank you to, or they could be randoms. Maybe you're just going to be the random person. You're going to be the person that keeps them in your car and you're randomly going to run into people and you're going to just say thank you. You don't even know their name and you're going to write thank you cards. So creating a list is one way to be prepared. Another is to have your cards, right?
Right.
So go to go to the dollar store, go to Target, go to Walmart, order them online, whatever, buy them in bulk,
Right.
buy an assortment of them so they're not all girly, so that guys don't get girly flower ones. But I always try to buy an assortment of thank you cards.
I have these really great cards, and they're in just a nice kind of card stock, but they're very simple, and all they say is thank you.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's cool.
Simple, just thank you, and then I am able to have a blank spot to leave a nice note. It's just right because it's not over the top, and for me in communicating to my crowd and my people, it's a great dad card.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Perfect. See?
Yeah.
And that goes both ways, right? So get some neutral cards and then put them where you're going to use them, right? Maybe for you, it's when you sit down at your desk, either in your home or at your workplace. Maybe it's when you do your journaling, your Bible time in the morning. Maybe it's next to your bed or keep them in your purse. I carry them in my backpack because I can't tell you how many times I've been traveling where I wish I had a thank you card to leave with somebody. So I always keep them in a Ziploc bag in my backpack. Maybe it's your to-go bag that you take out the door every day. Wherever it is that will work for you and you are thinking about, oh, I want to write a note in your car, wherever it is, put a little stack of thank you cards, some stamps, make sure there's a pen there because how many times are we digging for a pen? Just maybe take a Ziploc bag and put some cards in it with some stamps and some pen and a pen, and you're ready to go wherever you are to write that thank you card.
Old-fashioned stamps. Your kids are going to say one day, you use stamps? I mean, isn't that funny?
You just hardly...
This is a great classic way to touch a lot of people. I just love it. So I'm going to I got a list of about 4 or 5 people in my mind that I can do.
This week.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to do it all this
month.
week. I'm going to work at purposely doing one a week.
One a week.
That'll be my challenge for me.
Is there a day of the week that you're going to do it on? Because that you have to get right down to when will that habit be. To create it to be a habit, you have to have it be, okay, I'm going to do it every Monday morning when I get up in the morning before I leave.
I think for me it'll be probably a Thursday or Friday afternoon after I've had a week and I've worked with lots of people and I can just kind of go through my list in my mind and think, that person really helped me out. And send them a little note. Now, it can get frustrating sometimes. What's their address? You know what I mean? You're just going to have to take a little extra work.
That's not hard anymore, right? Email them, ask them, Facebook ask them, send a text message.
Right, but you don't want to totally ask the person you send a thank you card to.
Why not? They don't know why you're asking for their address.
Well, okay.
But a lot of people you might be handing them directly to as well.
Right, that could be
You might go into Home Depot and hand it to the manager and say, can you give this to so-and-so?
Right.
Right. So again, this isn't where you have to go out and buy a bunch of Starbucks cards or anything. This is just your words. Your words are the gift to them to show them value and to bring impact. That's really what it's about.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you, when I was doing it, when we worked on this mission base, I saw people, and maybe it was just me thinking, oh look, it works. But I felt like when I thanked them, they worked harder. That their shoulders kind of stood up a little bit more I matter. It matters what I'm doing. And I think it's really important to do that for people, is to make them realize what they do is important. Because let's all face it, if somebody didn't clean the bathroom at the hotel that we're at or even the bathroom at the grocery store, we wouldn't be very happy to go into a dirty bathroom, right? Well, somebody should be thanked for that. I think about our employees at our restaurant and I just think, wow, I don't want to clean the bathroom after everybody else has used it all day long. I don't want to be in the kitchen cooking. I mean, there's so many things I don't want to do. But man, we would be in a mess without them. We need to value them for what they're doing because they do a thankless job that nobody, sure, they get paid. I get that people get paid for that, but that doesn't make you feel like what you're doing is making a difference and anyone notices it. So this is about noticing something that other people are doing, valuing other people, letting people know they really mean something to you in your life.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to keep going on and on because I could talk about it for hours. But anyway, I challenge you today as a mom to just sit down and write maybe one thank you note a week. Maybe just that's what you do. Once a week, you think about somebody that's impacting your life or somebody that you want to thank for the job that they're doing that made your day better.
And I challenge the dads to write that thank you note and let your kids know that you did that. I mean, what a great example, especially to the young men in your family, to that dad took a moment to appreciate somebody. I mean, it will make a mark on how they affect and do their life.
It is important. Every year I have my boys sit down and write letters to their teachers, even though they're in high school, to write a note to each teacher and then to go and give them a Starbucks card and their little envelope with their note in it and stuff, because I want them to learn to thank their teacher.
Yeah.
Hey, they don't like going to school? But they can thank their teacher,
That's
right,
right.
for doing that.
That's right.
So thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time. Bye.
Take care.